To all of you who want to be here but who can't physically travel, I pray I can do you all justice. You're going to hear from a lot of people with long COVID today, but as an ally, I'm here to speak to the general public who have since moved on for the pandemic, and I'm asking for help. Folks, you're being lied to about the scale of this situation. We're being told COVID is now mild, you only need to isolate for one day, and that we have the tools to fight it, when that's anything but the truth. They gave us lackluster vaccines and sent us on our way. So we must push back in solidarity and demand more. I continue to wear this respirator, not just to protect myself, but others too. Wearing a respirator is a sign of solidarity for our medically vulnerable and disabled neighbors, which could also be you if you've had a recent COVID infection. It seems somewhere along the line, many of my even most liberal friends lost the plot on community care. Now, I've heard every ableist excuse in the book to ignore this ongoing pandemic. I'm vaccinated. I can't think about it anymore. I got to live my life. None of which are reasonable grounds to ignore this fast-growing crisis. This head-in-the-sand strategy is failing. Conditions caused by COVID, such as blood clots, bone marrow loss, damaged immune system, dementia, Parkinson's, etc., are coming for all of us. Make no mistake, long COVID can happen to anyone, even if you're vaccinated. And it's not rare. Each reinfection is a risk, but society has sacrificed the most vulnerable in exchange for indoor dining. The lack of safe public spaces is a civil rights issue. We can turn this around, but we have to start caring. The stories of long COVID you hear are only the tip of the iceberg. I implore everyone to listen to people with long COVID. I ask you to fight for them because so many can't fight for themselves. Seek out their stories, get involved, donate to places like PolyBio, fight for clean indoor air and better treatments, stand up for communities of color who aren't getting the medical support or the drug trials they need. These long COVID warriors, and all of us by extension, have been abandoned by Congress, the WHO, NIH, and HHS. We've been abandoned by the media, who doesn't want to report on the long-term effects. We've been abandoned by HICPAC, who refuses to recommend respirators in healthcare and keep disabled people safe. We've been abandoned by the CDC, who ignored the fact that COVID can be contagious for 20 days and decided to reduce the isolation to 1 day, and who downplays the effects of clean indoor air and what this virus does to children. We've been abandoned by CDC Director, maskless Mandy Cohen, who in the face of 2,000 COVID deaths per week this year said nothing but wash your hands. And we've been abandoned by President Biden, who has never once said the words long COVID. Mr. President, this is a security risk to our military, a risk to our medical staff, a risk to our pilots, air traffic controllers, children, educators. I could go on. Treat this like the emergency it is. There's a massive crisis of people being reinfected who don't realize the damage that's being caused to them because we have been successfully gaslit by leaders. COVID is fusing brain cells, viral reservoirs hiding out in bone marrow, yet we're being told that it's nothing more than a cold and it no longer rules our lives. It's not a cold, never was. Mild viruses don't cause disability at this scale. COVID hasn't changed. Its perception has been just manipulated by our leaders. And as bad as it is here in America, this is a global crisis that's also being ignored by other countries. Many of the same senators who held the long COVID hearing also agreed to slash COVID funds, voted to ban mask mates on public transit, got rid of telehealth, cut science funding, and have yet to pass anything that fights this disease. Members of the public, don't turn your backs on this disease like they have. So once again, I call on everyone to demand more from our government and public health. Listen and elevate the stories of those with long COVID. You'll hear stories of careers destroyed, crushing debt, relationships ending, being forced into homelessness, and suffering and pain. Those stories are a warning of what's to come for all of us if we don't immediately act. So fight for clean indoor air in forced congregate settings. Demand your local school and workplaces push HEPA filters and upgraded ventilation. Fight for masks in healthcare. Push for $28 billion in annual funding to prevent and treat this disease. Demand repurposed and novel antivirals and immunotherapies. Tell your reps you want a congressional investigation into Mandy Cohen and the CDC. We need help on the local, state, and federal level. Ask what you can do to get involved. No amount of energy helping is too small. But if you don't do anything else at all, at the very least, wear your fucking mask. Thank you.